So I have it taped off my 11 by 14 canvas just so that we can have a little frame around there. So all you need today for this painting that we're going to do is your primary colors of red, yellow, and blue, and some green and brown and some white, and you can put some black on there too if you want. These have really nice bristles and they're great for your trees and your bushes, and this is going to be used for your background, okay? And then we have a flat synthetic brush, chiseled edge, and I have a flat Filbert brush, which is chiseled edge and synthetic, and I also have a liner brush. So first of all, I am going to decide how far down I want to come with my sky. So I'm not going to put any tape there. I'm just going to put a little bit of blue there just to, let's see, we need, I think maybe I'll come up to here and leave a lot of foreground for the few different things that we want to do. Okay, so I'm just putting a little, deciding, you know, you have to decide where you're going to go with your painting and the structure you want to make and the composition and all that good stuff. So with my blue paint, I'm going to add some white. Okay, so I have white. I want a really light blue sky. And I want a really light blue sky. And because it is in the background, it's probably going to be covered up, but you'll be able to see through the trees. So let's just go back and forth with this beautiful blue. Nice, hey? Let's do the other corner. Let's do the corners a little darker than the rest. How's that? So lots of white. Good. Lots of white. Because we want to keep that sky nice and bright. I want to keep it. So once I get a bit of blue on there, and my brush is dirty, I'm just going to continue on adding white, okay? And I'm going to leave that center open there so I can add only white there, okay? Just want to really, really brighten up this center over here, which is the rule of thirds. I'm using this part here for the sun. So as the rule of thirds is your line, and 2 lines, and 2 lines, and then you come over to the third. And that's where I'm going to keep my sun. So I have a master class on my Patreon page that teaches you all about color mixing and color theory and explains in detail what it all means, and all about the rule of thirds and all kinds of good stuff in there that I can't get on YouTube because it would take up. I want to just put the videos up here, but any explanations, I'll put that in my Patreon page for you. Now, see how nice and bright that is here? I might even try to make it brighter after. But I just want a simple little plain sky like that. I'm not going to bother with, just want to get the blue line out of there now. Just going to add white to that. Just want to get it out of there. Get it out of the way. So back here, I'm just going to put some trees. I'm going to put some sap green on my brush. My brush is a little, still has a bit of white on it, okay? I don't clean my brush very often unless I'm going from light to dark, but because I had a bit of white on it, didn't hurt too much. And just a few trees in the background there. Maybe add a little bit of blue. Just play with your colors. You can even add a little bit of red if you want. You know, just play. As long as you're all dark colors, okay? You add white, you're going to get them to brighten up. I'm just going to put these back here. And I'm using my flat brush because I'm just going to put some simple little trees back here. Just tap, tap, tap. Chiseled edge of your brush. Or you can go like this. That line that you had there, use that for a guide. You can pull up some trees. That probably would be easier for you. There we go. There we go. I like that. Tap, tap, tap. Chisel edge your brush. Put your paint on there. Okay. And pull up. And you get different heights. See? Touch. Tap, tap, tap. Some paint on. Make sure there's enough paint on there. You can just touch and pull up, but it won't be enough paint. You can even turn your brush on chisel edge and bring up some different trees in the center too, right? So whatever you think. Just try for a bit of fun. I like trying different things. Tap, tap, tap. Pull up, pull up, pull up, pull up. Pull up, pull up, and pull up on the chiseled edge. Get some more trees. That's cute, isn't it? Simple way to do trees, but they're in the background, so you don't need to see a lot of detail, okay? Tap, tap, tap. Now you can even have small trees like that if you want, just tap and get a few shapes. And you can pull up like this, because that way you'll get trees in between trees. All right, and then you can pull up on the chisel edge. So you're pulling up this way, right? And then you're flipping around like that. All right. Just to get some tops to your trees, because you already get that filled in on the bottom, which is really nice, isn't it? All right, so let's do a couple more to the edge. Tap, tap, tap. All right, and then we'll go pull up. Don't worry if this is crooked down here, we can always fix it after. Pull up some tops of your trees. And you are, go a little bigger ones down here. Yeah. So you can even go back and adjust anything that you need to adjust. I like that. I think I'm going to leave that. Nice. I'm going to make a little river down there. And I'm going to just take my blue paint on my chiseled edge brush and draw out where I want the river to come from. So I'm thinking maybe it's coming from over here somewhere. So we'll just go like that, bring it around. Probably bring it over and in. Let's just make kind of, you know, different things going on there. And then we'll come back in. We'll spread it right to the corner, okay? Right to the corner. That way it'll help you. So it looks like got a question mark. Yeah, make up all kinds of stuff. Question mark. Now we'll come over here and follow that question mark. Nice and tiny up here. And then it's going to come out to the other side. So just follow what you just did. Come in. And then go back out to the other side. Now that wasn't too hard, was it? There we go, good. So we'll use a bristle brush. Nice stiff bristles. And we'll take some green paint. Make some grass. Alright, so I'm going to take some blue and that green that I have there and some yellow. I'm not fussy about that green, so I'm going to make another batch of green with more yellow and blue and a bit of white. Alright. More yellow than green, I think. You know, you mix your colors and see what color you like best. I'm not really sure. I want to get, I'll add my highlights after, so we'll use that as a base color. How's that? As we get down here, it's going to be in shadow, so we'll only come down as far as here with the light stuff. Just make a line, okay? It's good to draw things out as you go along to decide where you're going to go with your painting. All right, that way it'll help you keep help you keep control of what you're doing. So we'll tap on that. Tap, tap, tap. Space with your green color, and you see how it got texture because of the brush. See, the brush is giving you beautiful texture. That's what it does. These bristle brushes are amazing for tap, tap, tapping, okay, for texture. So think of a bristle brush as tapping, pushing, scrubbing, because it'll give you lots of texture, and great for trees, foliage, grass. All right, keep that in mind. All right, any size bristle. So for the bottom, I want it in shadow. We want it in shadow. You're following me, so you are going to put shadow in there. So anyway, this is good because it'll teach you how to add shadow. So I'm just going to add burnt umber. So to the colors I already mixed, my blue and my green and my yellow. Right? Add burnt umber. And that will darken it up. Where are you? There you are. Oh, I almost missed you that time. Because this is a nice dark color. If it's not dark enough, we can always add other colors and more color. So we will take that and add that down here. Oh, that's a nice pretty color. That's really nice. Look at that, how dark it is. Isn't that pretty? Nice. The other side. See, once you got those lines in, see how easy it is to make your decision then? So you made your decision when you put your lines in, and that way you didn't have to worry about making another decision. The only decision you had to make was if you wanted in shadow, if you wanted to add more grass down here. All right, so, but once you got the shape, now you don't have to worry about it. You don't have to worry about going all over the place and making a mess. So that's perfect. See, a few taps and you got beautiful grass. Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? I'm going to put some blue in here, some water in here, just so we can get that much out of the way too, because there's so many other things we have to do. We have to highlight here. Once we get this water in and we get the highlights, then we can add a little bridge here. It'll be nice, right? A little bridge. I think it'd be nice there. Our shadows and a few different things. All right. So with the water, I'm going to use a flat chiseled edge because we're not going to be tapping. Right? So anytime you're not tapping, then you know you need to use your flat brush. Chiseled edge. So I'm just going to put some blue. Not going to be too fussy yet. Just want to get it on there. Okay, just get it on there. You got to start somewhere. This is the problem some people have, is they look at the painting and say, I don't know where to start. I don't know what to do. Just get something on there to get it started. Whether you draw out what you see, just the lines, just to give you an idea where everything is going. Even that's a good start. All right. And once you get a drawing done, or get your composition drawn out, it's much easier just to fill it in. I'm just filling that in. I'm picking up white because I don't want it too blue. All right. So we're going to be, adjusting and doing things after. But right now, I just want to, like I said, I want to get something started. Sometimes I don't know where to start either, and I just pick up the brush and just put something on there. Usually if it's a landscape, I'll put a sky in first. I always start my sky, and I find it so much easier to get things going. Now down here I want it dark, so I'm going to add dark color to that to darken it up. I'm going to add a little more light here because I'm trying to think of where the light's coming in. It's a bit lighter there. And like I say, I'll be coming back in to brighten that up after. I want to make the rest of it dark, so I'm just going to wipe my brush off. Alright, just going to wipe my brush off, and I'm going to add my ultramarine blue. Okay, and I'm just going to put that in there. Alright, I'm just going to add that. I'm starting it here, pulling out so I can just get that nice little feel of a... You don't have to do it, you just fill it in. But if I were you, I'd go back and forth this way instead of going up and down all over the place. You know, have some structure to what you're doing. Just go with the shape of the water, the shape of the land, or shape of a rock, you know, or an apple. If you're doing an apple, you make round strokes. If you go all over the place, it'll be, I don't know, just don't work. You'd have to do a second layer for sure then. Cover up all the weird strokes. So I'm just trying to get this on here now. Comes over here too. I might add a little tiny bit of black to it, just to really darken it up. Really, okay? I know people don't like black, but as long as you're adding other colors to black, it's not too bad. Pretty good. So let's get that on there. Nice and dark over here for sure, isn't it? Leave it open a little bit there and we'll decide how far up we want to go with this. Alright, I'm going to add a little darkness up here on this edge and a little darkness on this edge. Alright. Yeah, so clean your brush really good and pick up some white with a little bit of blue, all right? And we'll go with the center there. And we will go back into here, just kind of scrub it on there. And get that in there. We want to mix that in with it, okay? Leave it open. All right, there we go. Might need to go get some more white. A little bit more white, not much. For here. Now take this color here, go back in here again, and go back out here, and that will make it all look like it's working together. It don't look like a line, like you can tell it's all separated. So let's just do this. Go right into your paint. Now don't go up here too much more because your brush can be really dirty. So clean your brush. Alright, good. And just go back again with clean brush. Clean that up a little bit here. Okay, before you go into the real dark part. Alright, get this cleaned up in here first. Alright. And we will, now we can go back in here. Nice, 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 nice. Nice. Yeah, that's pretty. I'm going to take my little happy brush. This is the makeup brush that I told you about. Alright, I'm going to soften that up just by going back and forth like this. I find this brush is good for, you know, softening up without disturbing it too much. It gives it a nice soft look. See? Now when it gets dirty, all you have to do is wash it with soap and water. Alright, and when you wash it with soap and water, so I just cleaned it, and this is what it looks like when it's wet, okay? When I cleaned it all off and I wrung it out, that's what it looks like when it's wet. But when you take your towel, your old face cloth or whatever, and you rub it The white ones are the same. You do the same thing with your white brush. We'll call it a blending brush if you want. I call it my happy brush because it makes me happy. Look, perfect. Good as new, see? So that's the way you treat that brush. Just thought I'd let you know in case I forgot to tell you. So now I'll be doing more work with this. So I'm just going to add a few more little highlights to this here. Just taking my chiseled edge brush and just adding some streaks of white in this area here. See? That brightens that up a little bit more. Yeah. So all you gotta do is use a chiseled edge of your brush with a little bit of white on top, maybe some more dark down here. It depends on what you want to do, okay? Okay, if you want to darken up more or whatever. It looks kind of nice. What do you think? Up the back here with highlights. I'm going to try a fan brush. You could try a fan brush, a bristle brush. This is a bristle fan. You could try bristle. Try a couple of different brushes to see what kind of effect you're going to get. I'm just going to add yellow and a greenish color, a bright green, okay? Really bright green. Yellow and a little bit of green. I'm just going to tap up here. Alright, and then I'm just going to tap around with my fan brush. And if that doesn't work, you can try, like I said, you can try a bristle brush. So it's yellow and green, bright, brighten it up, and you add a little bit of white to it if it doesn't brighten enough for you. So just add some of these, just tap, 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 and follow the lay of the land. Leave some of the dark green underneath so you can get some kind of, because we can always go back over it again. Alright, that's the effect you're going to get with the fan brush, alright? And the effect you'll get with your bristle, the one we use for putting the grass on, this one, you can add your yellow, green, a little tiny bit of white. It'll spread open for you. And you can tap that on, and that's the effect you'll get. It's kind of a little harder to control for some reason. Alright, I'm going to add a little more white so you can see it. But you can see it's a little harder to control. So find a brush that you can control, alright? So I'm having a little bit of a time. Now I'm going to try chisel edge. I don't think this is going to work, but let's try it. Not too bad. Try the three of them. You pick out the one you like the best. I'll leave it up to you. I'm going to use my fan brush. So I'm going to add more white so I can brighten up this bottom part a little bit more. Now, sometimes when your paint is too wet, it might be harder to get it on there. So if you're having a really hard time, let your paint dry. A little bit of light down here. Start from the bottom, work your way back, see if that helps. There we go. All right. That brightens up nice. Let's do the other side. So the other side is the same thing, just a bit of green, a bit of yellow, a bit of white. I want to make it nice and bright. Green, yellow, white. Make it nice and bright. Green, yellow, and white. Other things on there, we will, if we have to adjust this here, we will make a few little highlights here and there. So what I want to do now is add a big old tree right here, okay? So for the big old tree, I am going to add burnt umber. Okay, so let's take some nice burnt umber on a chiseled edge brush. This one is a smaller one than I used before, as you can see. So I'm trying to get the trunk about this big, okay? So I'm going to make it flat like that. So I'm going to put burnt umber on both sides of my brush. Okay, and I'm going to flatten it out, and I'm going to lay it down where I want to take it, and I'm going to pull up. I'm not going to go straight up. I'm going to give it kind of a little curve or something, you know, just make some interest. Go right to the top. Now, if you ran out of paint, it's no big deal. I'm going to add a little bit of black to it this time so you can see it better. So I have brown on one side and a bit of black on the other, okay? And with the black side down, we will go back over. We may run out of paint again. Just keep going anyway, all right? Same deal. Black and that. One more time. Nice. You can do as many times as you want. I don't want to, if you do this, you're going to scrape the paint off. But if you do this, and you can stay within the range that we're already in, because you get those nice sharp edges. See those sharp edges the brush is making for you? See the edges here? See how nice they are? Okay. That looks good. Take a bit of brown, a bit of black. Black side down. We will make a couple of branches here. Chiseled edge this time. Chiseled. Go out to the chiseled edge and go out off. All right, like that. That's good. Like that. And we'll do another one over here. Fix it up here and fix it up here. That's better, isn't it? I'm going to do another one right here, I think. Come off your tree. liner brush and paint. Make some branches. So we're going to put some leaves. So I think I'd like to have another tree over here. Same deal. I'm going to put the burnt umber on there, a little bit of black just to so you can see it. And we are going to add a tree right here. I'm not going to make it as big, of course. I'm going to make it smaller, so I'm going to turn it this way now instead, okay? And I'm going to touch and pull up. Touch. I'm going to lean forward, lean up so that the bristles spread. And then pull. Okay, as you can see, I made a boo-boo there, so I'm just going to show you how not to do that. So anyway, you touch down here, push up on your brush so that it spreads, and then pull up. Okay, get a nice little tree back here. I kind of made a boo-boo, but that's okay. I don't mind you see my boo-boos. Now I'm going to make some branches coming out of the side here using my chiseled edge. Just using my chiseled edge, I'm going to come out, make some branches. Okay, thicker ones so we can put our thinner ones on our thicker ones, okay? There we go. Now we'll get our liner brush. I want to explain something about making those lines because some people have a hard time making those thin lines. But if you use water on your brush and your paint, okay, because you got to make it be able to move. Because you don't want to push too hard. If you push hard, you're going to get thick ones like those there. But if you lift up, and the lighter you can get on your brush, the thinner it will be for you. Okay. So I just lean a little bit too much. It's hard to sometimes get control. But with practice and fast movements, it helps. Bristle brush again because I want to tap, tap, tap. Okay, so whenever you want, tap, tap, tap. I'm going to use a red. I want a dark. I'm going to make a little bush right here so you wonder what I'm doing. And I'm going to add some of that burnt umber to my red because I want to get a nice dark underpainting. I always explain about how you should get 3 values. Okay, so this is our first value, which is the darkest value. We'll throw a little bit of blue in there, as you can see, sneaking it in. And so I'm going to put my first value on, all right? And this also helps me get a shape too, you know? So that's my first value. I'll put on my second value in a minute. Alright, that's that. I put one over here too. Just to offset the balance. You want to balance it out, alright? Good. Now with your dirty brush, let's add a bit of white. Right, I'm going to, see it's on my dirty brush, but see it's too much. So we're going to tap into that color. And if you don't want it totally red, you can always add yellow, kind of give it an orangey look. It's not bad for a second value. Look, it's lighter than the first value. Okay, so dark, medium, and then we're going to go lighter than that. So we're just going to tap on some of these lighter colors. Make sure you keep some of the darker ones underneath. Alright, see that? Same over here. Start at the top and just move around to the bottom. By the time you get to the bottom, you leave some. Right? I kind of made that kind of blobby there, but that's okay. And now for our third value, keep your brush dirty, it's okay, and we'll add more white, and we will tap into, depending on how bright you want to go, we'll tap into that color, and you got a nice, really bright color. So that's your third value. And that will start at the top again. Tap around that top, and there you go. See? Over here. Now see how that gives it a nice round look, and you got all those nice shadows. So you got dark, medium, and light. So I'm going to add some leaves to my trees. I'm going to use my 1-inch brush. That's this one here. Just that one there, okay? See, that's what it looks like after you use it. A real mess, right? But, you know, that's it. It works. Okay, so I'm going to put a really dark green on here. Just a dark green. I made the dark green. You can use your sap green. I'm going to use my ultramarine blue and my cad yellow. Okay, and I've got a nice dark green. So I'm going to use those leaves to help me, okay, get where I want my branches to go. So I'm just going to go tap, one tap, one. Look at those beautiful leaves. I mean, come on. That brush is amazing. It really, really amazes me. And it's only just a brush that I got from your hardware store, paint shop, anywhere, right? Nice and dark now, because you're going to use that for an underpainting, okay? So tap on, just use the one tap, one. Alright, don't go back over them, because you're going to end up with a mess. Or you'll end up with blobs, or you'll end up ruining what you already did. One tap, one tap. Tap, tap, tap. On your tree. Okay? Okay, look for those little branches. There. So here. I'm going to put some around the tree too, because I'm going to be adding more stuff to that. Now don't worry. For this one over here, I'm going to use the same brush, but I'm going to use a burnt sienna this time. Clean your brush really good, or get a new one, and use my burnt sienna with a little bit of burnt umber, because I'm trying to get a dark color first. Remember our 3 values, so I'm looking for my darks first, okay? Might even add a little bit of blue. I don't know. I don't want it too blue or anything. Just trying to get it dark, and then I'll lighten it up. So tap, 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 tap. Alright. Now we got two trees and colors. So we want to brighten up some of those, and we're going to do that too. We are now going to work on the trees, these, and I'm going to do a little bit of work on this. Maybe put some bushes back here. So because I'm tapping, I'm going to need my bristle brush. So remember what brush you need. All right, and I'm going to add my burnt sienna and some yellow. Tap into each other, and some white. Make it nice and bright. Messy palette, which is lovely. It's got nice colors on it. Now, let's get a few little taps over here. And I'm just going to tap on top of what I just did there. See? I'm going to add more leaves, but I'm going to do them individually, and I'm going to pick two brushes that I think might work, because if one don't work, at least I'll have two, and one's a filbert and one's a flat, okay? And they are synthetic. They're not bristle. All right. So I'm going to lighten up the leaves, and I'm going to make some green. I'm going to make my own green with blue and yellow. I can get really nice greens by making my own. But if you have a really nice green, there you go, right ahead. And I'm going to add some of that creamy color that I made earlier, just to lighten it up. And I'm going to pick individual, and start wherever you want, wherever you're comfortable, and just make a little touch and pull to get some leaves. All right, see? So you get some nice individual leaves here like this. Now you're probably saying, well, why don't you use your brush? Because it's not the effect I want. So it all depends on the effect that you want, all right? So little ones and bigger ones, just touch. You can even just touch if you like. I'm just touching and pulling ahead a little bit. That's all. Get some more greens in there and go back and forth with some green and light green and this brush here. So I'm going to go with some dark first. So I'm going to make some green. A little bit of red, I'll add a little bit of color to it. Tiny bit of white. And Sienna. Adding all kinds of colors. Alright, so let's just take that nice wet brush and start pouncing. Boom, boom, boom. Pounce. Look at all those gorgeous colors happening. So you don't have, you know, I mean, if you don't want to go through those individuals, you can just use this brush and tap on. Isn't that pretty? See, that's pretty, isn't it? Now we lighten it up. Turn off your brush a bit and just lighten it up with some yellow, white, and sienna. Experiment with your colors if you're trying to get a bit of color in there, okay? And we will tap. Just tap once now. Don't go over the same area all the time. Now this brush will save you a ton of time. Kind of like that tree. It's got a lot of nice things going on there. Look at that. Right? So the more layers you do, the more colors, you know, a lot of things happening. So let's do the same over here. I'm not going to do those individually over there because it could take us, you know, it could take you a long time. And I find this brush does everything that you want done, it'll do it for you. So I'm not going to add too much green to that one over there. I'm going to add more of the burnt sienna and white and yellow. Okay? So like I say, sometimes I don't plan my painting and then I end up, you know, when I'm teaching it, I'm just going by instinct, Alright, so I'm just going to throw these on here like that. See? They're pretty. These brushes are amazing. I'll just... Look, see how much time it's saving you now than doing it individually? I'm going to add some darks here. I'm going to add a bit of red. You can go back and forth with the darks, alright? And lights. I got a bit, you know what? I got a bit of red, blue, and yellow. Got all kinds of stuff going on there. I'm just going to tap in some darks. I found that too late. Now I'm going to add some light on top of that again. I want to leave some open spaces though. Alright, so I'm going to add a little more lights to the top again. Just add my white to my burnt sienna, maybe a little bit of red, you know, just experiment with your colors, okay? Just on the edges here. I might come back to that later and add some more highlights, okay? Nice. Take off this so you can actually see the painting, because right now it looks messy, but if we take this off, it'll make it look nicer. See how pretty it is with the tape off? I'm going to use my small bristle brush right here just to add a little bit of color to the background there. So I'm just going to pick up some, I don't know, let's see, probably some of this blue, red, and green color, and mix a little tiny bit of white in it to see what color is coming out. Not bad, it's kind of purplish color. I'm going to add more burnt sienna to that. Love burnt sienna. And that should do it, because I don't want it too bright and I don't want it too dark. Add a few little bushes or little trees way back here. This is in the distance, so we don't have to worry too much. Okay, wipe off my brush. Too much paint. Alright. Just a little bit in the background here. I'm trying to add some color to this painting, that's all. leave it, that little part there where the water is going, we'll leave that there. I'm going to add a little bit of yellow to my brush. Got a little bit of yellowy greenish color here. See the mess? Isn't that fantastic colors? Look at those colors. I know it looks messy, but being an artist kind of brighten it up with a bit of white to my yellow. Trying to get a bit of a color here. Not too much paint on your brush. Wipe it off if you have to. I'm just tapping very gently. Okay, going down into my grass a little bit, that's okay. Whatever's left over in my brush, I'm going to move it up a little bit. Trying to get a bit more yellowy white to try and get a little bit of, there we go, that's better. Too much paint. Soften it off by going back over it again. Move your brush around different ways. I'm thinking that might be in shadow back there. Oh, that's better. Yes. Look at those trees. Good. Looks like real leaves. Oh, cool. Think of your painting as layering color. And that's the results you get when you layer colors like this. See all the different colors? Aren't they beautiful? Because we kept layering. So I'm doing a master class on my Patreon page, and I'm going to be teaching about color harmony. We're going to do paintings with color harmony. We're going to do paintings with using complementary colors. We'll be using one color. We'll be using a split complementary. All the things in color theory. Okay, so I'm going to make a pale. I'm going to make a green. Okay, so if I can find some room here, and a pale green. I don't like that color green. I have a bit of burnt sienna. I have to experiment with my colors. Okay, it's nice. I think I like that one. Let's try it. So I'm just going to go back over some of this here. We're going to take a bright spot right here, and we are going to make some sun rays coming in through here. Okay, might want to extend this tree a little bit. I'll see first. So I'm thinking a flat chisel edge brush should work. Let's give it a try. So we want nice bright color of white, nice white. And we're going to put that right here. We need it wet so that we can make a nice sun ray coming in here. Add a tiny bit of yellow to that. I'm just going to brighten it up. I'm going to add a little bit of yellow so it won't be too All right, and I'm going to wipe it off my tissue because I don't want to have too much. I see, look, you can see it's right. And all right, move that around a little bit. I need more paint. I'm just going to add a little bit more white paint. This could be scary. Don't do it if you don't feel comfortable, all right? I might put some more tree. I should have put more tree there, but let's see, let's see. Sun rays. Just falling down here. Now that's too much paint. If we got too much, if you got that, that's too much paint. All right, we need to see through it. Wipe it off. Keep wiping it off till it goes away. All right. There's some here. You run out of paint. Put it on your brush and then wipe it off in your tissue. All right. I'm going to take my brush and use the wider side. This part here I was using the chiseled edge, but this comes out nice here, look. And use the wider side of the brush. There we go. It's a little better, isn't it? Okay, let's do that again. Get a little bit of yellow into your white, just so it matches the painting. Almost makes those disappear, doesn't it? Okay, I'm going to add a bit more white here. Might be something you have to go and do. Add more paint. All right. Add some over here on top of that tree. See light coming in. There we go. Nice and bright. Some brightness over here. Put it on there just to tap that into the tree a little bit, just to brighten up that edge there. And pull down. I think that's good. You can use the chiseled edge and the flat edge just to get what you're looking for. Just trying to get extra streaks. Just adding a little color to it just by adding a little bit of yellow to it. A little bit of yellow. Going up into what I did there. See, I get that little bit of yellow going on there. That look nice? It's nice, isn't it? And put the light wherever you want it. I'm just going to brighten up that with a little few strokes of cloudy look. That's pretty. I think that's nice. I'm going to get a little bit of that highlighted grass here, and I'm going to add a few little strokes of grass here. All right, so just a little bit there. And a little bit here. I still want to keep it dark. The dark color, green, and we will move it up here a little bit. I'm going to add a bit of burnt umber to that because it's too bright. Right, a bit of burnt umber. Dark brown. Now see, I didn't leave the tape on some after going over, so I forgot about that, so be careful. If you mess it up, that's okay. So I'm going to add some shadow color in here. Alright. Keep that shadow color. It's important. Really helps your painting have contrast, alright, and interest. It is down here, the better. Darker. Almost like putting, you can even put black in it if you want to. Just mix up some dark green and add some black, or like burnt umber. So you can get almost a blackish color. Goodness gracious. Right? See how those contrasts really look nice? I'm just going to go into my lighter color here for now. Alright. See how I layered the colors? So when you layer it, it looks more interesting. See all those layers that I did? Also, take your little flat brush that you have here, and we'll add some little white flowers just to give it some interest. Touch the corner of your brush and get these little white flowers. Here, just a really bright green here, just to get there so that I can put some grass coming up there and it'll show up really nice. Just tap it in there. Really bright. Underneath green. Here there will be a shadow. So let's just get our, you can get out your, any brush is good for this. And we'll get a dark green shadow. Really dark. The dark color that we used for down here. We're going to use that under here. Because that's a shadow. So always look for shadows. Alright, it's a nice shadow there, isn't it? And we'll put another one over here. Any brush should do this, you'll be fine. Try not to make it blobby. Alright. All these little details really help a lot. We're going to use our liner brush to bring up some grasses here. That's why I wanted that light behind there, because I want to show up my dark green. Add some water to dark green, yellow and blue, or sap green, whatever you have on hand. Nice dark green. I'm going to add some burnt umber to darken it down a bit more. Alright, maybe a little black. I want it nice and dark. I think that should do it. We're just going to drag up a few little short grasses coming up here. Add a little bit of burnt sienna, a little tiny bit of white on your chiseled edge brush. Just add a little bit of interest here. Just up and down, look. Just so you get thin lines, because you don't want to lose your dark. Right, good. Flat chiseled edge brush. And just clean this edge up here. You just got to clean up your edges. A bit of dark shadows going on over here. Probably reflection from that tree and things. I'm going to pick up some of that green with a little bit of white, a lighter color, and I'm going to add just a few little leaves here. Just use the corner of your brush to tap on those little leaves. Then use the Alright, good. Darken up my green and add a few little chiseled edge of my brush. I'll add a few little like I said, all these little things make your painting Brush, and I'm going to use my dark color. I'm going to make a few rocks in the water. I won't put in too many, just probably put one here. Just make a line and just make that line. Don't make anything else. Just thicken it up a bit. That's enough. Maybe another one here and one here. Okay, just to give it some interest. All right, that's the dark colors. So try to make your line a bit straight there, and then just thicken it up on top a little bit. Clean your brush. Get your burnt sienna with a bit of white or yellow. Burnt sienna, I think yellow might be nice. It's a nice color. And we lay that on top of here. See, now you got your shadows and your tops. Just using the corner of my brush. And then just add your dark color as a bit of a shadow from the rock. Right? See how shadows are important? This is a very good painting for learning. Layering, shadows, highlights, shapes. See the difference it makes? Makes a big difference, doesn't it? You can even darken up this edge here so that it will look like it has a little bank there. Just take a little line just like that. See that? That wasn't much, now was it? And here. Make it look like it's going around the corner there. The water is back there somewhere. It's coming around. Good. I think I'm going to call that finished. I'm going to end up ruining it. I will call it finished. I know I'm trying to get that brighter over here, but I may try that some other time. Okay, so let's call that finished. That's a pretty painting. That's a good painting that I may do for my masterclass on my Patreon, because there's so much to learn here, and so if I don't have the full video here, if I just do a demonstration or I just skim through it or whatever, I will have the full version in on my Patreon in my masterclass. So that's a pretty painting. I like it, and so I hope you like it. Out a small fan brush, and we'll just finish up this little bit in here. Just get some white paint and put it around the rocks for a little water line, just a bit of water going in here. I'm just going to tap that in there a little bit, just move a little bit of water in here. A little bit of water coming down here. It's moving. Move it around a little bit. And come underneath the rock here. And a little bit here. You got a few little movements of water happening here. Just move it a little bit there like that. Tiny bit under here because it's darker there. A little bit here. Okay, let's add a bridge. I think a bridge would be nice here, wouldn't it? Maybe one here. Let's try going up Make like a letter C. There we go. See, that's nice, isn't it? I'm just going to put that one line right there. That's all I'm doing. Good. I'm going to get flat chiseled edge brush, and I'm going to put a burnt umber on there. I want dark color. Follow that line. My chiseled edge. Voila! You have a bridge. Now, there's your little bridge. We're just going to highlight the top, some white and burnt sienna. Some white and burnt sienna. We'll highlight just the top. Good. And we will highlight it once more with some white. Clean off your brush a little bit, just put some white on there. Maybe not too white. Just brighter than what we have there. Light, or really light burnt sienna. I'm not sure. I'll add a bit of yellow. Give it a bright color. Burnt sienna, yellow, and white. Let's try that. Let's try that. Wipe it off is too much on there. And you might have to just go around the edge. Alright. Really want to highlight the top part here. Oops. Really gotta have a steady hand for this, hey? Let it darken as it goes down the back there. Alright, so I fooled up a little bit, so we're going to add back that dark. There we go. And then we're just going to add some yellow. A bit of white. White and yellow on our flat chiseled edge brush. And we will just highlight this top part here a little bit more. That's where the sun is. Just take my time and just try to catch that top part. You can even take it and pull in from the edge here. Like that, touch and pull in. There we go, it's a little bridge. And we will have burnt sienna and a brown for a shadow. Burnt sienna and blue, I'm sorry. Burnt sienna and blue for a shadow going across that. And we want to make it glaze, so we're going to wet our brush. So I wet my brush, the paint is still on there, but I'm going to wipe it off with my tissue. Leave a little bit of water on there. So the color should be still there. And we are going to add a little shadow. That way you don't lose everything. Alright. I want that shadow a little darker, just add a bit more green or blue. Just up underneath is a little better to get the darkness. Okay. Good. A little more white and yellow. I'm going to add a little more white and yellow to this. Almost got it. Almost. A little tedious. What you need to do is let that dry and then put your white on. White, yellow color. You can have any kind of bridge you want there. Mine's a little broken. Start at the edge here and pull back and you'll get that nice little edge there, see? That's cool. I'm not going to play around with that too much. I'm just going to add a little bit of a, you know, if there's a bridge here, there's probably a little path or something. I'm just going to put some burnt sienna and green and some dark colors there. And make a little path going up over the hill here. So when they come off the bridge, they got somewhere to go. Right? Goes back there somewhere. There's another one here. Now, yeah, so make sure you got a little bit of darkness or something here just to separate that. That's nice and dark there. It's grass going up here. Maybe there's some little flowers in there. Little white ones. Or whatever color you want. Maybe feel a little white and red or something. Just give it a little bit of a change.
Little details. What makes it so nice? You might say, you don't want your painting too busy, but
I know. But that little bit of highlight gives it a really nice look, doesn't it? Because we layered it. That's all this is like that because we layered. We layered the paints, different colors. Well, thank you for watching my video today. I just want to say thank you all for all your support through my Patreon page, and just for watching my videos. I'm really happy that I could do this for you, and I get a lot of nice compliments. So I am so happy that you watched that video, and if you have any questions about what you saw in the video, just leave your comments below and I'll answer them as soon as I can for you. And we will do some more videos coming up.